Okay. Hey guys, what's up everybody and welcome back to House of a Warrior. My name is Lauren Adoyo, and as it is still September, Sickle Cell World Awareness, sorry, what did I say? Awareness Month for Sickle Cell Disease. I am still trying to bring you guys warrior stories from different people all across the world. And today, in the house, I have Jordan, who I will now go over to you, Jordan. You could please introduce yourself to the channel.
Hi, my name is Jordan. I'm 18 years old. I have sickle cell disease, SC particularly, and this is something that, I've been dealing with for pretty much all of my life, but I've, been able to live out my life the best that I can while dealing with it, and I'd be happy to inform anyone who would like to know more.
Okay. Okay, so Jordan, how would you define sickle cell in your own words?
Um, if I had to choose a way to define it, I would say that it's a challenge, definitely. It's one of those things where, you know, when you have it, there's not really anything that you can do to get rid of it. However, there are things that you can do to make it more manageable and still try to live your life as normal as possible. I don't think that it necessarily has to be something that completely holds you back from living your life or something that, you know,
Yeah.
is like when you have it, you
Mm-hmm.
can still try to live life to the best of your abilities and try to have the best quality of life as possible. It's
Yeah.
not something that you can necessarily pretend isn't there, but it's definitely something that you can work around.
Okay. That's a really, really great explanation. Okay, so when you say you've lived with sickle cell all your life, you're now 18. Do you know when you were diagnosed?
Around 2 years old.
Around 2 years old. Me too. So how do you deal with stigma, especially you being a teenager, you're still in school, okay, stigma from your friends, from the society about sickle cell. How do you handle that?
Um, Honestly, it can be a bit hard. I definitely think that's the hardest part about it. Is that I am different from everybody else, everybody that I go to school with. And, a lot of people try to understand, but I don't think it's something that, if you don't have, you'll ever understand fully. And then, of course, there's some stigma in, the medical field as well with the doctors and things like that, that I think really does need to change
Yeah.
because, I think everybody deserves fair and equal medical treatment,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're dealing with something like that. Nobody chooses to ever be sick, so everybody should be treated well and equally. And, it has definitely affected some of my social life when it comes to, school
Yeah.
and friends. But overall, I think that when you get more education and awareness out there, it will only help people with sickle cell.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Awesome. Do you think your government is doing enough to support people living with sickle cell in your country?
Um, to be honest, not really. However, I do notice that it is definitely starting to get better in recent years. I definitely think that there is still a lot more that can be done, especially when you see all of the help and relief that people with other illnesses get. I think that sickle cell should be taken just as seriously and it is just as, life altering as other things. So I feel that people with sickle cell should get more support, better medical treatment, things like that.
Yeah, yeah, they really should. Okay, if you could change one thing about having sickle cell disease, what would it be for you?
Um, Honestly, I just make it less painful.
Hmm. Yeah, me too. Me too. I would make it less painful for sure. That's the hardest part. Okay, so your mom has sickle cell and you too and one other sibling, right?
Yeah, my brother.
So because you're 18, would you know how challenging this disease is financially on your family?
Yeah, definitely. I have a good idea.
Mm-hmm. So like I
You
always
know, it
insist on
definitely
how,
takes a
yeah, I always insist on how expensive of a disease this is to manage, from the drugs, the hospital visits, the diet at home. How do you guys handle all this under one roof with three people living with this disease?
honestly, it really is just, all coming together and helping each with,
Sorry?
you know, the things that we can manage family with care of things, whether it be
Sorry, Jordan,
finances or,
we didn't
diet
hear
and food
you.
choices or even just things as
We didn't hear you.
hmm?
You cut off.
Oh,
Yeah,
I said that basically it's really just all pulling together and helping each other when we can, whether it be other family community, with financial things and diet. I just think that it's very important to have a good support system of other people who know what you go through and are willing to help you. And I can definitely see how that would be hard for somebody who doesn't have that type
yeah,
of support,
yeah,
which so I definitely think that it's important to get more awareness and more, government assistance and helps that way. If you're sick, you don't also deserve to have to go into a whole bunch of debt trying to simply live life and be
yeah,
healthy.
yeah, that's true. Okay, so Jordan, you told me one thing you would change about having sickle cell is the pain. Um, could you describe what your painful crisis feels like?
Um, I think that's kind of hard to explain, but I guess I'll try my best.
Mhm.
It's like, when you feel pain in like your joints, mostly that's where I feel it a lot of elbows, knees, wrists, ankles, chest pain, headaches. A lot of people don't talk about the headaches that come from,
Yeah,
having low blood levels and things like that, but the headaches are pretty bad. And, it's very hard to describe. And I get this question a lot, especially at the hospital, like, describe what your pain feels like. But it's very hard to, in the sense that it's not like any other pain that you would feel, when you like sprain your wrist or fall or break something, it's not like anything else that you would ever feel. So you can't just say, like, oh, well, imagine you broke your arm. Like, that's not really what it feels like. It's
yeah,
like a pain that you can genuinely feel coursing through your veins because that's where it is.
yeah. Okay, I understand really, really well. Someone who hasn't gone through this pain, I don't think they would understand, but I do. Also, would you consider sickle cell a disability?
Yeah, it definitely can be, especially for people with more severe cases. My case tends to be a bit more on the mild side. But there are some people there are some days where I can't go to school, things like that, for weeks at a time. And you need assistance to do things. Personally, be like, I need assistance with a lot of things. I don't have very much stamina. If I'm in pain, then there's not much I can really get up and do, go out. Even hard to walk around at times. And
Yeah.
people with even more severe cases,
Mhm.
you can be pretty much bedbound. So, it's one of the things where it's hard to get, a job because you can't just miss days and days at work at a time
Yeah.
and things like that. So I think that it definitely is a disability.
Yeah. Okay, so as we get closer to finishing, what has sickle cell taken away from you, Jordan, in terms of relationships, activities that you can't do? Like, what has it kept you from?
Oh, a lot, honestly, even just things as simple as going out and hanging out with friends when I want to. It's very hard for me to make any plans anytime in advance because I never know if I'll be feeling up to it that day. I, yeah. Um, just any type of appointments that I have, I try not to make them because I know that it's a large possibility that I won't be able to make it. You never know how you're going to feel on a day to day basis. school, a lot of school events that I've missed, a lot of outings that I've missed.
Yeah.
Um, it's just I try to work around it as best I can, but you never truly know.
Yeah.
You can be home one day and in the hospital for 2 weeks the next.
Okay. Wow. Um, so you're a teenager. There's a lot of young moms who just found out their babies have sickle cell. There's a lot of people that get diagnosed late, like 14, 15. Um, like I want you to give a word of encouragement to these people, looking as you are in the same age group of the people who are growing up with this disease. Like, what would you tell them?
Um, You know, I wouldn't say that it's not hard because I know for a fact that it is. And I think that that's definitely what a lot of people say. And I know that it takes a lot to push through it, not even just physically, but on a mental standpoint. You
Mhm.
have to make sure you keep your mental health in check as well. And so I would say always just try to do your best. Try to take care of yourself the best that you can. It's not your fault, but there are a lot of things that you can do to try and, mitigate it and just try to make sure that, you try to stay as healthy as you can
Yeah.
besides it, because that's a big part of, making sure that you're in the best physical shape that you can be besides your sickle cell. And don't let it stop you from, a lot of other things. I think that a big part of my life is finding ways to try and work around it to still live your life. It's
Mhm.
not, you don't have to put your entire life on hold. You can still, live. You can do things online. You can have people come to you. There's a lot of other things you can do. Don't let it completely stop you from living. You deserve a life just as much as everybody else does. And even if you have to go about it in a non-traditional way, there are still
Yeah.
definitely ways that you can do that.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you do at home to at least avoid, there's no way we can avoid a crisis, but to at least make sure you're healthy. Just some tips that you can give other warriors out here.
The biggest thing I would say is a lot of hydration. Make sure you drink a lot of water and also try to get good iron in your diet. Or, like, if you go to the doctors and get blood results, try to mitigate the deficiencies that you have with, different foods and diet choices. So, like, I've been eating a lot of iron lately because I know that my iron is low, and that has made me feel a lot better. And then just try to, slowly work up stamina and move around a lot. That'll help your blood flow better. So that'll make you feel a lot better. And then try to find, like, vitamins are definitely very helpful. If you can't find things in your diet to help your deficiencies, I would definitely recommend taking some vitamins. And honestly, just trying to get up and out more, even if it's just a little bit, that definitely helps a lot.
Okay. Okay, so Jordan, lastly, I have my elder sister is a warrior as well. And when we were younger, we lived together. And whenever she got a crisis, it killed me. Like I felt like she shouldn't be going through that because I knew just how painful it was. How do you deal with it when your mom goes into a crisis or your younger brother, like when you know exactly what they're going through?
It's very hard, definitely mentally, but I do realize that I try to remain strong on the outside because I do know what they're going through,
Yeah.
and thus I know what they need to support them during that time.
Mhm.
So it might be hard, and you might definitely think about how you know what they're going through, but you also know what can help them during that period.
Oh, yeah, true. Okay. Thank you so much for talking to me. This was so wonderful. Thank you guys for watching. If you've reached this far, please subscribe to the channel. Please keep telling a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend to check us out and let's fill this house up. And for me and Jordan, we're gonna sign out and we're gonna say bye. Thank you, Jordan, for
Bye.
coming on.